Good morning and welcome to Charlie's Tech Talk Season 2.
To make that clear for everyone, this is recorded.
Did you just say that you've got a platform there called C3PO?
I do, and there was also an R2D2, and one day hopefully we'll have a Death Star too.
So he and I were facing off against each other, and I destroyed him, just so we're clear.
The lockdown album coming out soon.
Put a lock on the door so I can't come in.
Every now and again, if she's not sure I'm on a call, you'll see like a cup of coffee just appear on the corner here.
I've had that a few times. Just, are you on a video call? Why didn't you tell me?
Okay, yeah, I'm Adam Lewis, the VP of Enterprise Apps. Enterprise Apps is the team that we kind of see that customer journey from first finding out the customer exists through to customer support at the end.
I am the technical product owner for MuleSoft. MuleSoft is an API platform, so it connects all of the other systems within enterprise applications together.
So that makes me the other Ben in this instance. So Ben McDonald, I'm the technical product owner for Salesforce and Workday. The current big thing we're working on at the moment is the integration to SAP on the whole lead to cash lifecycle. And Workday being the HR core system that's been rolled out recently globally.
I'm Steve Dowse. I'm the core legacy principal product owner, and same for quality. So for core legacy systems, that's things such as CIDB, C3PO, UDM, GNet, etc. And then the quality aspect of my role is to ensure testing is conducted for quality across all of the different systems already mentioned within the group, and then bring in unified processes so that we will start working in a unified way to be efficient.
Fantastic. Thank you, Steve. I've got to ask, did you just say that you've got a platform there called C3PO?
Yeah.
I do, and there was also an R2D2, and one day hopefully we'll have a Death Star too.
So guys, how has COVID affected your working patterns? Adam, do you want to get me started off?
On a personal perspective, there's been a lot of benefits for me. Whereas before I'd be sat at my desk and someone could walk up to me maybe every 3 minutes and ask a question or so, which you're encouraged when you're leading a team, but it can get in the way of your productivity a bit. So now people still come ask me questions quite regularly, but it's in a message format, and I can just leave it there and I can wait and I can come to it when I've got a break in my work. So I miss people, of course, but my productivity's definitely gone up.
I think from my perspective, I agree with Adam. My personal productivity has dropped, but I think the team
Dropped?
Sorry, dropped.
The truth is out there.
has increased, but I think the team capacity or the output has definitely remained, but we've had to work at it. I mean, it's not been easy to keep up the throughput of work. They've maintained it, but it's definitely an overhead to keep that. And potentially I have sort of spent more time just trying to keep the team's capacity going than actually my own productivity. So maybe it wasn't a Freudian slip, maybe it's just the actual truth that I didn't realise until someone asked the question.
Steve, it looks like we're in the same office today, maybe slightly different corners of it.
I think you're in the same chair.
So how's it been for you, Steve? You know, what have you noticed kind of in terms of impacting your work or just your kind of routine? Has that changed?
I think remotely is difficult to gauge people's actual mood, for example. So I've tried to actively encourage more one-to-ones within my group to see if, just touch base with people really, make sure they're okay in their own life and work isn't on top of them. What we do is primarily meeting based. So as the others have alluded to, I think at the beginning, tooling became a bit of a thing. I think IT did really well actually to stand everybody up remotely. And I think chaos, at first, maybe people not knowing in different countries what their rules were. I think it's settled. It's kind of driven us down a collective using like Teams. Really, everyone's jumped on the Teams bandwagon. That's embedded really well, and I think that's kind of helped the way I work. Certainly,
Have you noticed certain things changing? Like, for example, whereas in the past you might jump on a Skype call, now every call is a video call. And also, has that given you any kind of benefits? Have you maybe noticed now that you're building better relationships, not just with your team, but maybe some of your external vendors?
In the early days, I think it was chaos in the sense that you'd have a Slack or you'd have a WebEx or you'd have a Zoom call, and it seems to have stabilized itself. I think through the tooling itself, meeting the vendors, for example, license negotiation, it is a nice chance to actually meet somebody where you might have just done it over the phone before. So yeah, that's been beneficial.
I think in general, I didn't like joining video calls because I can see my face down there, and it's bad enough that you have to see it, but I have to see it as well. It's just not my natural way to want to have my face on the screen. But it depends on the type of call, right? If we have informal team catch-ups, I think everyone's on camera. Yeah, I've definitely seen people's faces more that I wouldn't necessarily have done so, like calls with Germany or other parts of the world.
Ben, just coming back to you there with the onboarding piece, you obviously mentioned having someone join on the 23rd of March, and I guess it was that day or a couple of days later, we've all got into full-on remote. How did you, as a hiring manager, find the onboarding of that individual into your team? Talk to me about that process.
I mean, it was largely all right, I think. I mean, luckily, we'd been able to interview in person. So I think the biggest challenge was trying to make sure that we got her a laptop in time. I think if it had been a week later, we would have been a different story.
Did you find that you had to utilize Teams, let's say, to do maybe whole day video calls to help get her up to speed quickly? Did you have to, be more diligent in making sure you're booking in regular meetings because you couldn't just see her at the desk or couldn't just kind of bump into her at the office to follow up on one of the smaller topics?
No. Having a whole day meeting with anyone on a conference call is enough to make your head explode. So, especially with conference calls, it's much better to try and keep the duration to a minimum, and ensure that the topic is focused.
What about you guys' personal, work-life balance? Have you had to incorporate new things into your working day to keep you kind of engaged, whether that's maybe going on a Peloton bike, like I can see in the background there, Adam, or maybe going for a...
Don't get started.
Or maybe going for a walk, at a set time every day, just to kind of keep you feeling like fresh and ready to go. Have there been any changes to your schedule?
Yeah, I mean, exercise has become massive. I was already fairly consistently exercising, but just as lockdown started, myself and Ben Jones, he challenged us to this exercise challenge. It effectively measures your heart rate and sees how hard you're working in every workout. And so he and I were facing off against each other, and I destroyed him, just so we're clear. But that really got me to realise that it is stressful being in the same room, like this room I'm in right now, and I sleep in it and I work in it and I work out in it. I think I'm out of it maybe 3 hours a day, but then exercise, going for a long run, doing anything outside was just a complete antidote to it, I found. So I'm not really into running, but lockdown I've got into running.
I think, hot desking in my own house. I've got lucky enough to have a study and a good quiet working environment. But yeah, there's just been days where just go work somewhere different. If you got mostly meetings, you're not sort of cracking away on a piece of work. Just sit on a sofa. If you want a bit of sunshine and you want to feel like you're outdoors, like just sort of go sit at the kitchen table, open up the windows, working. So, yeah, just getting around the house like you do hot desk in the office, and just trying to feel like you're not cooped up in the same small room for the last 9 months.
I make sure that I put a firm do not disturb meeting in once a day, even if it's just 10 minutes where that happens to be lunch, where I just go for a walk around the block just to cut away from the screen, because the meeting numbers do go up, right? And things like Rolling Stones and NME's top 500, never listened to music. I thought, let's just use the opportunity to do something. So when I haven't got a meeting in the background, I'm listening to music I've never heard before, and found some classics. Okay. Never liked the Smiths before. Love the Smiths now, for example.
Love the Smiths.
Yeah. Yeah, so just using the time, just something different.
The beginning of lockdown was probably, the first couple of months were probably a bit easier because the workload wasn't as heavy as it is now. But so I was, I suppose the biggest challenge was the kids not being at school. So I'd take one out for a bike ride in the morning, and then I'd go for a run at some point, and then take the other one out in the evening. So actually, I actually started running a lot, but I'm quite nicely set up here. So I've got a little, like, you see, I've got my decks and my keyboard, and I've got a drum machine and some synthesizers. So I often don't leave this room for hours.
The lockdown album coming out soon.
Yeah.
Kids is a really interesting topic. Obviously, not everyone on the call will have them, but for those of you that do, do you feel like your children kind of?
I think you're the only one who doesn't, Charlie.
Yeah.
But no early morning bike rides for me or school homework. Thank God, I'm not quite ready for that. But have you kind of noticed a change in your kids' behaviours? Do they kind of now get it when daddy's on the call, or daddy's doing work, or are they still confused by the whole thing and always trying to get some FaceTime themselves on these video calls?
Oakley doesn't really care because he's discovered Fortnite. So he's basically on conference calls with his mates. There's some kind of battle royale or something. I don't know. Jemima likes to get involved in conference calls, or at least she used to. She's now just like bored.
I think, well, my wife has been flat out incredible at keeping them distracted and away from me most of the time. Early on, I was hoping we'd have a repeat of that, that BBC interview where the guy's kids walk in the background. It's just haven't been able to recreate it at all. So I think they like me being home. I like being home to see them because I used to only get home for bedtime now and again, and now I get to pop out and see them all the time. But I think people have had it worse than me. That my wife, she plays an amazing gatekeeper.
But I think my son, he's definitely enjoyed me being home earlier in the evenings, but he does get confused as to why I'm sat in. Sometimes I'm sat in the room, at the very beginning, like, why is Dad sat in the room there by himself all day, and he's just not being with us. And but now he's understood that I'm pretty much on calls. I think actually funny story. He had an observation at nursery the other day, and he was caught playing on a computer, and they said, come over here for registration, and he said, no, I'm working at the moment, and I've got a meeting in 50 minutes, and then I can come through. So he's clearly been, what I've been saying is sunk in, and it's whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but got working from home life. Yeah, that's it. But yeah,
my wife can't stand the idea of being on a video either. So every now and again, if she's not sure I'm on a call, you'll see like a cup of coffee just appear on the corner here.
I've had that a few times. Just, are you on a video call? Why didn't you tell me? Kind of got like a sticker on the wall now, video in progress.
Need one of those on-air lights.
That's right.
Yeah. Look, guys, to be honest, I think we probably needed like a good hour to just kind of go through some of these topics and draw it all out. But I've got to wrap it up. Look, it's been great. It's been insightful. It was great to touch on, like, the kids, the work from home, they're taking a break from your own kind of space and all of that. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Charlie.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the content. If you'd like to learn more about GfK or join one of our global teams, why not check out our website and careers page, or one of the many social media channels displayed around the screen. Take care and see you on the next video.